Well, a very exciting game we have ahead of us. Two teams coming off the back of two very different results. Croatia for the first time winning their opening game of a FIBA World Basketball Cup qualifiers, while Israel on the road in Germany going up against the defending Basketball World Cup champions in Germany, losing by 20. Well, we'll take a look at the standings so far here in Group E. Croatia with that big 40-point victory against the likes of Cyprus are indeed top of the group, but again, that could change. Remember, Germany are taking on Cyprus as they've traveled down to Limassol to take on the team that once hosted one of the venues of the recent FIBA Basketball Eurobasket. Well, for Croatia, unfortunately failing to have qualified for both the Eurobaskets in 2019 and 2023. That man right there, Mario Hezonja, with almost triple-double numbers of 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, will be looking to lead this team. Well, other big performances coming from the likes of Darko Brankovic. Now, Brankovic, of course, in that game, played a phenomenal role. And, of course, he's currently playing with Rio Briogan in the Spanish ACB. Well, you look at this team, there's a lot of talent, no doubt about it. But I just think you're going to need also a big performance in the likes of Roko Prkacin, and not to mention Michal Ružić. Well, the Croatians, of course, a team with a lot of history and tradition. And, well, tonight, they will be led by their head coach, Tomislav Mijatovic. Well, for the Israelis, it's a mix of up-and-coming youth talent, but also some veteran players. And some of these players, as the likes of Bar Timur, as you can see coming out, and we just saw Idan Zalmanson, they have featured in all 3 of the FIBA Basketball World Cup windows from 2019 to 2023 to now. Well, the key for the Israelis is going to be tempo. Of course, they're going to be here at the Xiaomi Arena. And like I said, for them, 3-point wins in the first half. You see Roy Huber there. They were pretty good. But the key thing is going to be Roman Sorkin inside the paint. Can they maintain the pressure for 40 minutes against an up-and-coming Croatian national team that is looking to rebuild their identity and bring back the old days? Head coach Ariel Beit-Halafmi would have looked at that game against Germany as a tough one, but now knows here in Riga they've got to get a win against Croatia. Well, fans, it is now the best part of the evening, as now we're going to stand for the national anthems of both Israel and Croatia. And we kindly ask if you could do the same.
Please remain standing for national anthem of Israel.
Well, the national anthems of these two teams have been sung, and now head coach Ariel Beit-Halafmi will indeed be shaking hands with his counterpart tonight, head coach Tomislav Mijatovic. Well, it's going to be an exciting game, to say the least. Both Israel and Croatia will want to win tonight. If Croatia wins, it will be the first time since the third window, I say, of the 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers, where they won 2 games in the same window. And it's been a very long time indeed. But tonight, if they're going to do that, they're going to have to stop that man. Of course, Roman Sorkin has been fantastic. Well, we're going to introduce our 3 referees for tonight's game. We're very proud. We have 3 of the very finest. Gavidas Gervilas from Lithuania, Michał Protz from Poland, and from Turkey, we have Tolga Edis. Well, the commissioner and technical delegate is Mr. Lukas Hubertus Vergusen. A big thank you to all of our officials. You've probably seen them in Basketball World Cups, Eurobaskets, and even the Olympics. And they'll continue to do a great job tonight here in Riga. Well, time to look at the Croatian starting lineup. Goran Filipovic, who currently plays in Madrid, Spain for the Estudiantes, will be partnered with Jalen Smith. Mario Hezonja, of course, the man who's making the waves at the moment, along with Mihail Ružić and David Škara. Well, that leaves Badjim along with Brankovic coming off the bench along with Božić. Well, quite a lot of talent that they can go to. Well, he's Croatian for sure, but he has spent the time ever since 2010 in Istanbul, Turkey. Of course, working as an assistant coach and then becoming a head coach in 2023. Well, now we'll take a look at the Israelis. And like I said, it was a good 3-point shooting night for them, but it just wasn't enough. The Germans were magnificent. Well, we'll take a look at how head coach Ariel Behalapmi will go with his lineup. Kanik Carrington will be in the backcourt along with Tamir Blatt. Blatt's return to the national team, which does leave Yovel Zusman, Gurlavi, and big man Roman Sorkin. Because 3 of those players did feature at the Eurobasket this past summer, so they do have Itai Segev coming off the bench along with Idan Zalmanson. Quite a lot of options, of course, Ariel Behalapmi can't go with this evening. Well, currently the head coach of Hapoel Afula in the Israeli Winter League. Of course, it was quite an exciting FIBA Eurobasket for the Israelis. That big monumental win that they got against France. But of course, when they came here to Riga, Latvia, just weren't able to go on a little bit further. But they'll be expecting something big tonight. A big response from that defeat in Ulm, Germany. Well, it is indeed going to be the 4th meeting ever in a FIBA competitive matchup between both Croatia and Israel. The first meeting was back in 1992. It was a qualification to the Olympics. Of course, they've met twice in qualification and group stage for the Eurobasket. But let's listen now to head coach Ariel Behalapmi.
Step out. Get the ball from Tamir. Roman back screen for Zeus. So first look, Zeus inside. If nothing happened from this, you win. If nothing happened from this, Tamir, back a little bit. Pass, fake it, and come from this side, Roman. From this side. מתחילים באייברסון. Come from this side, Yovel. Corner, and you are up. So you come over here, and then if it's not Roman with the short roll, it's you to Yovel.
Well, there you have it. The official game sponsor, the Tissot Countdown to Tip-Off, is now underway. And again, a big thank you to Tissot for a magnificent long decades partnership with FIBA basketball. Ružić, so probably fancy coming into this game. Like I said, had 9 points in that win against Cyprus, along with 7 rebounds. There's a lot for the young fella to prove to this matchup. Well, it's going to be a question of how well Roman Sorkin can battle inside the paint for the Israelis. Well, you just have to like everything that these two teams have to offer for each other. I mean, in the case of Croatia, you just saw Michał Ružić, who still is only 19 years of age, and playing alongside former NBA talent Mario Hezonja, who's now playing in the Spanish ACB in Madrid. You got to think that's quite the hero to play up against. Well, the Croatians had a very tough time in the last World Cup qualifiers. Only that one victory. And of course, the heartbreak in that final defeat against Finland. But now they've began this window with a big victory. Can they go 2-0 for the first time since 2018? Welcome, everybody, live here at the Xiaomi Arena. FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifying matchup between Israel and Croatia. It's going to be the Israelis with the first play of the game. Because Tamir Blatt did have his struggles in the backcourt against Germany. High pick and roll, Sorkin. Straight in the paint, goes at it, can't finish. Rebound has been secured as now Hazonia wants to push this one. Well, steps down, goes in, simple little dunk. Well, great pass by Hazonia, finding Mikhail Ružić. Because a lot of these Croatian players began their youth career, professional career with the likes of Sabona mainly, some with Zadar as well. Some of the historic teams of European basketball. Ružić coming up with the board. Because Ružić currently playing for Badalona in the Basketball Champions League. Croatia off to a great start. The baseline jumper neatly tucked away by David Škara. Finding Sorkin in the paint. There's a kick out. Blatt now getting closed out, fires a three. Just unable to convert as Hazonia comes up with a rebound. Well, Hazonia looking for Ružić. Nice play in the end, and it's going to be 6-0 to begin to the Croatians. And what a stop for head coach Mijatovic. Škara one more time. Israelis still looking for their first field goal. Zusman. Well, they want that post entry down low to Sorkin. Got it by Hazonia. Well, goes in for the hook shot. Nice take, but nobody battling for an offensive board. Croatia yet again want to extend their lead. Hazonia quick catch it, well, quick off the dribble. Buries a three-pointer from downtown. Mario. Well, like I said, nearly triple-double numbers against Cyprus. 25, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Also had 1 block for that matter. Perfect start for the Croatians. As now Blatt goes for another 3 and nothing dropping at the moment. Just over 2 minutes played as Hazonia coming off one screen yet again. Back down in the paint. Well, Hazonia tries another one. Made his last, and Super Mario buries a troika. And a timeout is going to be called by Israel. It's all Croatia at the moment. Well, Filipovic made the extra pass, and there was Super Mario from downtown. Well, could it be the case? Croatia are back on the international scene. Well, we are going to head down to the Israelis bench to find out what head coach Ariel Ben-Halafmi is going to address to his players in this timeout. 12-0 beginning for the Croatians.
We run this now. We go for you, right? Take it. Get the ball end off, right? Ruben, you clear. You clear. Roman, come back, short one and play with him. Corner, pick and roll, you and Teddy.
Well, it's been a great stop, but Mario Hazonia has just been doing everything, facilitating. Škara also 2 big field goals for the Croatians. That time as well, the dump down by young 19-year-old Ružić. This is the kind of Croatian basketball those fans back in Hrvatska want to see from the 90s. Well, it's a great stop, but can the Israelis gather themselves from this timeout? Down by 12, live here at the Xiaomi Arena in Riga, Latvia. Second game of Group B here in the FIBA Basketball Cup qualifiers. Israel still looking for that first field goal. Carrington trying to make something happen, bit of separation. Well, he's got to come big tonight. He did have a good game against Germany. And they need Kadeem Carrington to fire from the perimeter. Jalen Smith being matched up by Kadeem Carrington. 3 versus 3. Inside the paint finds Ružić. Simply does a little jump hook. Puts his teammates with veteran player Ante Tomic. Goes 2 decades apart, playing in Badalona in the BCL. Sorkin, good defense by the young 19-year-old. Well, he's got a lot of potential. Because a lot of names to live up to. Krešimir Ćosić, Ivica Zubac. Even more modern day Dario Saric, both those 2 players. So a lot of great bigs coming from Croatia. Well, a foul has been called, and I believe that's going to be called against Filipovic. I think that's going to be on the ground, though. So baseline possession coming up for the Israelis. Sorkin looking to attack, nowhere to go. This is good defense by Croatia. That's a good move by Ramat. Sorkin finding his way to the bucket, and they need more of that from the big fella. Coming it back down to a 9-point deficit. First 2 points for Ramat Sorkin here in the first quarter. Filipovic now getting inside the paint. Finds Ružić yet again. Oh, young 19-year-old getting good looks and finishing. Great start for the young fella indeed. 6 points already for Mikhail Ružić. Carrington gets in the lane, now getting his second field goal. But now the Israelis taking it inside the paint to Croatia. Zanya getting a hand up. Zuzman trying to chase it. Well, that's good defense, resulting in a turnover. Well, a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations when you become the head coach of a basketball country as big as Croatia, but Mijatovic knew what he was getting himself into. He's a great coach. There's no question, that's undeniable. Zuzman thinks about the three. They come out and switch, deep one. Not gonna get it, but a foul is gonna be called. So free throws coming up for Gurlavi. I think Filipovic may have just taken a shot to the face on the box out. Let's have a look here, watch the replay. Well, there's the ball. I think it's probably just a bit of inadvertent contact. Well, it's actually David Škada, excuse me. Question you've also got to ask is how many minutes is Mario Hezonja going to play this evening? Well, I think they've called this on the ground, so no free throws coming up. Well, a change coming in for the Croatians. So subbing into the game is Toni Nakic. Well, Nakic, another very versatile player for this team. Because currently playing for UCAM Murcia in the FIBA Europe Cup as well as the Spanish ACB. Carrington looking for Sorkin inside the paint. Almost turning it over. Time winding down, they got to force up a three. And that's calmly collected by Hezonja. And now here comes Mario. Hezonja, while getting stripped, good defense. But can the Israelis counterattack? Well, Blatt is fouled. That's gonna be on the ground. That's gonna be the third team foul against Croatia here, but look at this. I think he dribbles right into Gurlavi, but great defense from the Israelis. As Gurlavi will enter to the bench, he'll take a breather. Still a 9-point lead. Foul is on Jalen Smith. That's his first personal. Black goes for another deep one and finally gets one as he cuts it down to a 6-point ball game. Deep three-pointer by Tamir Blatt. Second one already here in the first quarter for the Israelis. Nakic. Going back to Goran Filipovic. Now he'll try a deep one. And another Choika. Well, they went under the screen, and Goran made them pay. Well, there was indeed a deep three-pointer. Now the Israelis try to respond. Unable to connect, and now here comes the Croatians. Mario, pump fakes, dump down. Nakic fires another three. In and out, can't get it. An unselfish transition by the Croatians, but nothing coming of it. Well, nice backdoor. Sorkin goes in, throws it down, and now he cuts it down to a 7-point deficit, and that's a better offense from the Israelis. You definitely want to see more of that, the backdoor plays. Getting good looks inside the paints. As now Aditsi of Apoel Hulan is also checked in for the Israelis. Filipovic kicks out. Another contested three on target, but the Israelis prevent an offensive rebound. And now here come Israel's counterattack. Now we may have an injury. I think Jalen Smith may have taken a shot when trying to contest for the offensive board, so hopefully he's okay. Not sure who he ended up making contact with. Oh, like bowling. First it was Carrington. There's the backdoor play by Roman Sorkin. Because catching the young 19-year-old sleeping on defense. Beautiful play, but go back to that calamity. Sorkin showing the young man a few things. Well, looks like Jalen Smith is going to be okay. So Zdenko Brankovic now coming into the game for the first time for Croatia. One of their leading scorers in that win against Cyprus. Brankovic did finish with 17. Second only behind Mario Zonia. It's now the young 19-year-old Mikhail Ružić going to the bench. Timur kicks out in the corner. Yovel Zusman fires a three, cuts it down to a two-possession ball game. The Israelis finding confidence from three-point land. A lot of heavy defense coming. Croatia just looking to break it down. Another kick out. Nakic, baseline, goes in. And a good seal-off inside the paint. Well, Zdenko Brankovic enabled Toni Nakic to go baseline with that layup. Well, Sorkin pump fakes. Almost gets his pocket picked. Fakes the pass. Oh, beautiful by Roman Sorkin. Sent the defense flying on the no-look fake. And went in just with a little teardrop. Well, Dominic Mavra just getting inside the key, and that's where Croatia have shown a lot more aggressiveness. Nice move by Dominic Mavra. Sending it back to a six-point cushion. Roman Sorkin pick and pop. Well, he can't make those. Times he can be inconsistent. But he's a confident three-point shooter, Roman Sorkin. And now it is a one-possession ball game with just over 2 minutes. Zonia coming up for the high screen. Now they switch. Defended by Carrington. Carrington has to commit the foul. It's only the first team foul against the Israelis here in the first quarter. Well, here's another look at the pick and pop sequence by Roman Sorkin. And at that point, well, Zdenko Brankovic can't take too many gambles indeed if Roman Sorkin is going to make those threes. Croatia's had 12 points inside the paint so far in this game. Mavra looking for a penetration. That's a kick out. 5 here on the shot clock. Pump fakes. Tries to dop. Good defense by Sorkin. And that's going to be a 24-second violation. 1:39 to go. The Israelis can cut it down to 1, but it looks like Coach Mijatovic is going to call a timeout. His team still leading by 3 in the second game for both Israel and Croatia in the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Well, we are going to head down to Croatia's bench to find out what the message is going to be from the coach.
Too much. In Spanish pick and roll now with Perka, we're gonna again go hedge Paris. In hedge Paris, when the big man hedges, when the guy still has the ball with the ball, we gotta go and step him up, go out closer on him, okay? I'm idući napad, next offense, let's go stack 3. So stack Hezi, okay? Let's go.
Well, I think when they were having their most success was always when the ball was in the hands of Mario Zonia, whether that was in the full court, open court, or even the half court. But another look at the backdoor play by Roman Sorkin, then the pump fake. Well, he had a frustrating game on his standards against Germany, but so far, great start for the big fella. 4 out of 6 from the field. He does have 9 points. He's converted 1 3-pointer. We'll just see how many more he's going to take in this game tonight. Roman Sorkin. Israel with a chance with 1:39. As I said, to cut it down to 1. Maybe tie the game up with another three-pointer. Israelis currently 4 out of 10 from downtown here in the first quarter. Well, they go back to Sorkin. Defended by Rocco Prkačin. Sorkin trying to use the size, and there's a foul. That's going to be Croatia's final team foul to give away. Well, that's going to be a good matchup, a tough matchup indeed here for Rocco Prkačin. He's having a fantastic time playing with Nanterre in the French Pro LMB. A good season last year, averaging 10 points in 16 games in the Basketball Champions League. But this is a tough test, defending the likes of Roman Sorkin. Roy Huber still primary ball handler for the Israelis. Sorkin again up against Prkačin. Baseline, too dominant. 11 points for the big fella. Slicing that deficit down to 1. Well, Dominic Mavra right now just struggling with the ball in his hands. Not sure what happened there, but let's have a look at the, well, here's another look at the post play. Prkačin's trying to stand up, and it's just that reach there with the left hand. Prkačin's got to stand high. Don't go for the reach and try to bump him whenever Sorkin goes back into it, but that's a very dominant play by the big fella. As Itai Segev looks like he's getting ready to sub in now here for the Israelis. Well, he has subbed in, so Sorkin is going to go to the bench. Mavra forcing the switch. Now matched up with Itai Segev. Now they go to Mario. That's going to be the third team foul against Israelis. That's not a switch Itai Segev wants to have this evening, having to go up against Mario Hezonja. Israel with 1 foul to give. Mavra penetrates. Well, he had to finish that one because he didn't realize, well, there was actually a wide open Tony Nakic inside the paints. Back to a 3-point lead. Roy Huber can tie things up. And another 3. Well, shalosh party indeed for the Israelis. 25 apiece. And now 5 seconds difference between game and shot clock here in the first quarter. The Israelis 5 out of 11 from the perimeter. Well, it's good defense. Almost forced a turnover, but Smith comes up with it. And again, they turn it over. Well, Yair Kravitz came from behind. And now the Israelis can have the final shot. Well, again, Huber, deep one. And that's going to be an out-of-bounds violation. So with 1.4, Croatia can at least try to muster 1 final shot attempt. They're going to have to go full court, though. Well, they get it inbound. They go for the full court. Well, there you have it. Nothing separating both Israel and Croatia here at the end of the first quarter in the second game of Group E of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup Qualifiers. All roads to Doha 2027 begin in this window, and the Israelis looking for their first win. Well, there's a look at the previous FIBA Eurobasket, because we are going to look at some of the key game stats, and we'll also run down the best highlights. But so far, both teams getting good looks inside the paint. Croatia currently with 14 points, while the Israelis do have 10. The Israelis, have been able to convert 2 points off of turnovers, but it's been the 3-point shooting, the 5 out of 12, 42%, that's got them back in this game. Mario Hezonja currently with 6 points for the Croatians, along with Mikhail Ružić, the young 19-year-old. But Croatia looking to do something that they haven't done since 2018 and win back-to-back games in a window of the FIBA Basketball World Cup Qualifiers. Well, what a matchup. Those two have had their battles, no doubt about it. Roman Sorkin and Mario Hezonja. But right from the get-go, there was Mikhail Ružić. Well, only a few days after their first opening game, it was a 23rd birthday for the likes of Rocco Prkačin. Right now, he's having a tough test coming off the bench, matching up with the likes of Roman Sorkin. But Dereshkata off the high pick and roll, the dime coming from Badalona's 19-year-old. Indeed, Ružić. Well, here's the play they've been struggling to contain. Very strong start by Roman Sorkin, hitting 1 3-pointer already along with Tamir Blatt. But 11 points for big Roman. There was a backdoor, throwing it down. And just showing young 19-year-old Ružić, you've got to deny better. Well, let's hope this game goes right down to the wire. Welcome back, and use that QR code and download Courtside 1891, where you can get all the best live streams, schedules, and scores of international basketball. Courtside 1891, the home of international hoops. Well, it's going to be Croatia with the first possession. Because getting off to a good start is going to be key. And again, that's one way to do it. Well, Toni Nakic inside the paint, make that 16 points for the Croatians. Well, the Israelis have had their day from the perimeter. Huber wanted to kick out, but in the end, he goes back at them. Now make it 12 for the Israelis inside the key. Great take by Roy Huber. Probably both coaches will be expecting the defense to tip up, and Itai Segev, Lila Tough, good night. Well, that is how you convert turnovers into fast break alley-oops. The Croatians now find themselves trailing, something they haven't done too much in this game. Big offensive rebound, but a foul has been called indeed. Well, here was the turnover. And again, time to take flight with Itai Segev Airlines. Oh, Itai elevates and meets him at the summit. Lila Tough, good night. Rocco Prkačin currently at the free throw line here for Croatia. Like I said, he's been having a great time playing with Nanterre in the French Pro LMB. Because when he did play in the Basketball Champions League, he was actually a 57% free throw shooter. But he's able to level things up. The Israelis trying to avoid an 8-second violation. Batimor finds Artzi. Oh, just able to escape there, but good job by Batimor. Finding Segev, good hands. Well, good minutes so far from Itai Segev coming off the bench for Ariel Beit Halapmi. Currently playing in Tel Aviv in the Israeli Winter League. Of course, also played in Yerushalayim, if you remember. But also actually spent one season playing in the north of France back in 2021. Well, the foul's going to be called on the ground, so Prkačin's not going to go to the free throw line. It's intelligent play. Look, he gets the post up. Tries to pivot right into Roy Huber. I think that's the right call, but I've seen those given as a shooting foul. Well, Coach Mijatovic watching on, because it would be great for Croatia to win back-to-back games. We're talking about one of the most historic countries in basketball, not only in Europe, but in the world. Go back to 1994 at the FIBA World Championship, when it was known as then, which is the World Cup. Winning the bronze medal, coming in third place in the final win against Greece. Step back. 3 no good. Prkačin, offensive board. And again, showing the hunger. Rocco's come ready to play. Prkačin already with 4 points. Huber gets in around the defense. Unable to finish. Itai Segev battles, but Croatia will get it back. The Israelis only have 1 offensive rebound in this game, but that's a good take by Roy Huber. Tough finish, though. Because the Croatians currently out rebounding Israel, but a wide open 3 in the corner. And another troika. Well, who else? Toni Nakic. I guess we've seen him do that a few times in the FIBA Europe Cup with Vukan Murthia. Giving Croatia a 3-point lead. Netanyahu Artzi coming up with a ghost screen. Tim Moore, bit of contact. Well, should he be going to the free throw line? But a tough finish by Batimor. Slicing it down to a 1-point deficit. Remember, Israel still looking for their first win here in the qualifiers. Another foul. Well, I say that's a bailout foul because Luka Božić was out of control, not going anywhere. Netanyahu was just caught out of position on defense. Well, look at this. Tough Timur timing on that finish, and the bank was open. And I think he knows that's a circus shot, but hey, you gotta love it. You've gotta love that from Timur. It's Kadeem Carrington back in the lineup for the Israelis. It's Luka Božić, one of 7 players on this Croatian team that currently plays in the Spanish ACB Liga Endesa. He currently plays for Granada. He spent some time playing for KK Zagreb as a youngster. Also played in Crna Gora, Montenegro, and also played in Bosnia and Herzegovina as well. This last season, he actually averaged 11 points per game with Forza Lleida in the ACB. He's a 79% free throw shooter. Still a 2-point lead. Bit of contact. Now the foul is called. So it'll be Yair Kravitz now going to the charity stripe here for Israel. Well, Yair Kravitz, like many of these Israeli players, in his Pathway Academy development, went to the Israeli Wingate Academy in Netanya. Started his pro career with Hapoel Kfar Saba, because that was in the lower leagues, and also played for Maccabi Ra'ana, and also for Bnei Herzliya for many seasons, but currently now with the Sagalim Achim, the Purple Brothers of Hapoel Hulania. Also playing in the Basketball Champions League. Line violation, so another free throw coming up. Makes the free throw. It's a 1-point ball game currently as Roman Sorkin's going to check back into the game for the Israelis. Well, interesting. Yair Kravitz has only missed 1 free throw so far in the BCL for Hapoel Hulania. It's a heartbreak defeat in that last game for them when they went up against Juventud Badalona, where they felt they should have won the game on the road. Škada checking back into lineup here for the Croatians. Almost 3 minutes played here in the second quarter. Croatia's biggest lead was a 12-0 start, but a lot of that was, of course, implemented through the play of Mario Hezonja. Hezonja currently on the bench for the Croatians. Prkačin coming up for the high screen. Wants to go handoff. Nakic being heavily defended. There's a penetration again. Inside the paint, playing bully basketball. Luka Božić. Standing Croatia's lead to 3. I think the Croatians feeling like a matchup against Odyssey should go in the paint as Sorkin has 11. Finds Carrington, left uncontested, and levels things up. Well, the Israelis now 6 out of 13 and doing what they do best, making 3-pointers. 8 points already for Kadeem Carrington. Almost 4 minutes. Nakic, mismatch here for Prkačin, defended by Carrington. Israel's got 1 foul to give. There's a kick out. Another deep 3, high arc, and another troika. Well, both teams lighten it up as yet again the man from Madrid, Movistar Estudiantes, Goran Filipovic, now hits his second treble, his second troika. Sorkin high screen, fakes the pass, another pump fake, second one, but loses it this time. Croatia have numbers. The Israelis do a good job of counterattack, well, getting back on defense, but a foul is going to be called on the ground. That foul is on Yair Kravitz. Well, there's the post play, the kick out. Filipovic, 2 plays close him out. Kravitz and Artsy. Well, here was Kadeem Carrington making Israel's 6th 3-pointer of the game. Le Shalosh. .5:30 to go in the second quarter. Kravitz picking up his first personal foul. Filipovic finds an open, kicks out, and another one. Not going to go this time. Well, either that was going to be a foul or a backcourt violation on Škada because he did intercept the ball. before unfortunately running back into his own half. Fouls on Nakic, that's a good call. Israelis down by 3. Sorkin catching it near the three-point line. Wants to go Prokachin. Just too dominant. Right now, Croatia's got to figure something else. They've got to double team him. Because he's got the handles. I guess he's almost got like a Vlade Divac mini game. That's going to be an illegal screen. Rocco Prokachin came up for the screen for Goran Filipovic. Or Filipovic, excuse me. Now let's have a look here. Watch Prokachin setting that screen on Tamir Blatt. That's a good call, just didn't get set. But at the same time, Goran Filipovic just got to wait a split second, allow Prokachin to set that screen. That is going to be Prokachin's second personal foul. But Mikhail Ružić, who does have 6 points, is going to come back in for Croatia. Under halfway to go here in the second quarter. 18 bench points coming for the Croatians, 12 for the Israelis. Ružić, now the double team comes over. Good job by Toni Nakic. Well, that was a smart decision because Roman Sorkin can sometimes take a little bit too much time to make a move, and he had his head down. So well read by Toni Nakic. And now an illegal screen called against Israel. Well, that one is going to be called against Leo Carrera. He's only just checked into the game. Watch Carrera there. I mean, that's the right call. You can see him just leaning in, but it's very close. The margin for error whenever you set a bull screen, off screen, you've got to time it right. Because it's a lot different when you're setting a screen away from the ball because the runner just has to go off you. Another bump, and a foul's going to be called against Carrera as Božić will go to the free throw line. Well, twice now Božić is trying to get into the paint. Because last season when he did play for Forza Jeda in the ACB, he was a 79% free throw shooter. Because he did spend 2 seasons with KK Zata, in which his first season he was 81%, slightly went down to 77, but so far good stuff we're seeing from Luka Božić. Jalen Smith just watching up from the bench, currently playing in Turkey, in the capital city, in the Turkish Basketball Super League. Božić unable to convert. 2-point lead still to Croatia. Tamir Blatt just dealing with the pressure. Nice pick and roll action. Carrera kicks out, finds Zusman. Zusman goes in. Oh, that's a good move, but unable to finish. And now Croatia can push. Carrington doesn't want Toni Nakic a wide open look. But Božić inside the paint again. Brate just going to work. 6 points already for Luka Božić as he makes it a 2-possession ball game. Well, you said double team needs to come for Roman Sorkin. Make sure you come for Brate Božić. Too big, too strong, and simply just too good. Timeout called by head coach Adiel Ben-Halafmi. His team down by 4, still here in the second quarter. We'll head to that bench to find out what he's got to say.
We run old school for David. Okay, good screen, get it. Spacing without the ball pick. Yeah, get it. Beautiful. Okay. Leo, fix it. Yalla.
Well, the Israelis have done a good job getting themselves back into this one, but the thing they're having a problem with right now is defending Croatia inside the paint. Well, the Croatians, like I said, it's been 7 long years. 2019 Basketball World Cup qualifiers. The last time they won consecutive victories was indeed in the window of 2018. And they defeated both the Netherlands and the Italians. Carrington pulls up mid-range. Not going to get it. Rebound's been secured by Ružić. Both teams combined total of 42 points in the paint. Božić again. Makes a kick out. Valapovic. Bit of contact, no foul given. As Zusman gathers the rebound. Sorkin coming over the screen. Now they want the dump down. They kick out. Blacks made 1-3. Not going to get this one. But Croatia fight for it, but it goes out of bounds. Well, good hustle by Toni Nakic, but it will be sideline possession to the Israelis. Well, he's very cool, calm, and collected. He's a great coach for that matter. Respects every opponent he goes up against. And even when they defeated France at the Eurobasket, he did not allow the occasion to get to him, because it was a great run for the Israelis at the 2025 FIBA Eurobasket. Because big wins in Katowice. See Croatia currently with 4 second chance points, 0 for the Israelis. Carrington looks for a penetration. Goes in, but unable to finish. And now here comes Croatia, looking to extend that lead. Oh, Ružić, bit of contact. And again, 19 years old, just showing a lot of confidence. That's all he can do at the moment, because he also has 4 rebounds. Sorkin, high pick and roll. Pump fakes. Hesitates. That's going to be a little too short. Israel unable to secure the rebound. Carrington almost coming up with a steal. That's going to remain Croatia ball. Well, Mario Hezonja watching up from the bench. He's played 10 minutes. He has 6 points and 4 rebounds along with 1 assist. As Timor subs back into the lineup for the Israelis. But now here comes Super Mario. 2:21 to go here in the second quarter. Well, Toni Nakic is going to take a breather, because he's had a good start as well. 3 for 5 from the field with 7 points. We still have yet to see Rocco Badgett. This is one of the key players in that big win against, while forcing a turnover. And good defense from the Israelis. Well, Croatia built an early 12-0 lead at the beginning. They've been great so far, but the Israelis, of course, not a team that you can sit back on. Carrera. They want to go to Timor. Segev now comes up for the screen. Timor's got a clear runway. Falls over in the process, on the ground. That's got to be a 3-second violation, surely, but it's going to be a jump ball, I believe. Yep. Well, good defensive reaction there by David Škara. Sent Ružić to the ground. Škara could have easily fouled him there, but like I said, that's great defensive discipline. Well, they haven't scored for 3:18. They've got to find something. 0.6 of a second on the shot clock. They get it off in time. Well, he beat the timer, but he couldn't score it. Now here comes Mario. .95 seconds left here in the first half. Well, Božić has got to make a choice. Ružić on target, couldn't finish. Croatia currently 5 out of 11 from the perimeter so far. Israelis slightly one better. Timor working yet again with Segev. What good. Right idea on the time, but excellent foot skills by David Škara as he commits the kickball violation. But he had to do so because that would have cut it down to a 4-point ball game had he not. Fresh 14, baseline ball for Israel. Carrington. Wants a clear out, defended by Ružić. Goes to his left. Carrington, and a foul has been drawn, so Ružić committing it. This will send the Israelis to the free throw line. Well, Israel have only taken 2 free throws so far tonight, and that was with Yair Kravitz. Well, Kenny Carrington went to Seton Hall University because in his junior season, it was his best scoring. He was averaging 17 points. Started his pro career in Crna Gora with KK Manabar. Because the big point of his career is when he went to Jadia Dijon, then came to Israel in 2022, where he's been ever since for now 4 seasons. Currently playing in Yerushalayim. Five-point lead, Croatia. Given the time, could go 2 for 1. Filipovic. Well, Bosch wants a post up. Finds Ružić. Now goes to double figures. Well, he's leading by example. And it's a school night as well. 10 points. He hasn't missed a shot so far. Ružić. Timur finds separation mid-range, and he knocks that one down. They needed that one desperately. And now a timeout is going to be called by Mijatovic, head coach of Croatia. He wants to talk it over with 21 seconds. But look at this move by Timur. Veterans play in every FIBA World Cup qualifying stream. 2019, 2023, and now 2027. Timur has always been there. Let's head down to Croatia's bench to find out what they will probably want to draw up.
Oni govore ispod, ja znam da si agresivan, znam, sve mi je jasno. Za ovoga smo rekli da hoće prodirati. Za ovoga smo rekli da hoće sve u redu. Ako možeš, probaj, nema veze. Sada igramo rogovi, 3, hesi. Želimo krenuti na oko 10 sekundi. Davide, ide donji blok, bez ikakvih faulova u napad. Znači, down pick, idemo jako agresivan flare, long streak za hesi.
Well, it has indeed been the show from Croatia's young 19-year-old, Mikhail Ružić. I mean, he's playing like a veteran pro. And even Božić as well has had some good time. But yeah, the thing for Croatia, it's been so impressive, is their dominance inside the paint, but both teams have had good looks. So far, a combined total of 46 points have been scored inside the key. Welcome back, everybody. Xiaomi Arena. Final play here of the first half. Croatia lead by 5. Filipovic, time winding down. Wants to penetrate. In and around, there it is. Doesn't get it to go, and that is the end of the first half. 47-42. Croatia leading against Israel. Mikhail Ružić currently with 10 points. The young man playing for over to Badalona, but Roman Sorkin, a great start in the first quarter. He's got 13 points so far, leading all scorers. Well, like I said, it's been a great battle inside the paint and on the perimeter. The Israelis currently 6 out of 14 from downtown. Croatia currently 5 out of 12. But we're going to look at some of the key stats so far. Well, Croatia currently with 16 rebounds. 2 of them have been offensive. The Israelis only with 10. Like I said, that could change as this game progresses. Both teams having missed 2 free throws so far. 14 field goals from within inside the rainbow for the Croatians. And leading the rebound count, as we can see. And also having 7 more assists for that matter. But the Israelis do have 2 more steals. Well, along with Roman Sorkin, 9 points coming from Kenny Carrington for the Croatians. As we mentioned, 10 points for the likes of Mikhail Ružić. But also 7 from Tony Nakic and 6 from both Goran Filipovic as well as Mario Zanja. We'll look at the highlights very soon from the first half. Well, head coach Ariel Ben-Halafmi doesn't want to go 0-2, but so far he knows he's up against an inspired and very determined Croatian national team led by head coach Mijatovic. That was a tough play by Timur, bit of contact, and even coach Mijatovic couldn't believe it. Well, it was a tough game against Germany, the defending FIBA Basketball World Cup champions. But even with players like Luka Božić, who currently have 6 points, right now showing a lot of hunger, aggressiveness inside the paints. Well, here's Brkacic kicking out to Filipovic. That was his second three-pointer of the evening. Because you like to see it, it goes in the paints. Sometimes the bigs go to work, but then you'll see them kick it out. 5 three-pointers, as we mentioned, in total for Croatia. Well, there was the 5th field goal of the game for the young man, Mikhail Ružić. He leads Croatia with 10, second leading scorer in this game. It's halftime. We'll be back for the second half momentarily.
How many times are we going to see this? Baseline, are you kidding me?
Papa Nicolau says, give it to me.
Go attacks the closeout, feed Bruno inside.
Fills it up. It's all right. Croatia reset their offense. Zonya behind his head and finds Ružić under the rim.
The Israelis have numbers. Well, here we go, Sorkin. Oh my goodness, Lila Tov. Good night. Roman Sorkin in transition.
By Ursek. And a little bit of a highlight reel, and it is. Not sure how he caught it, but he did. First 2 points for him.
Fofana, back to Rocek, to Shimada, glides through, no one there, oh, batted away. What a defensive start. Markovic meets him at the penthouse and swats it away.
And a turnover, Harding, he has numbers. Who's he gonna get it to? Oh, goodness me. Flushes it home with one hand. Mateusz Panitka, the Kapitan for Poland.
4th turnover of the game for Serbia. Drives inside with the two-handed thunder for Fofana. That's a big play. Might be Kununchuk to Drell for the lob, and he's going to tie us up. Handed back to Fofana, floating halfway, gets it to go. Salim Fofana with the half-court buzzer beater. I am in a stunned moment here. Oh, it's been thrown away by Hrova. Kuleman for 3. No way! You are kidding me! You are kidding me right now! Unbelievable here in Copa. Has that really just happened? Estonia lead by 1.
Throws it up. Alashanis builds it. Sargiones for the win. Oh my goodness. Lithuania make it on the buzzer. How? Simply just how? The basketball gods favor their most loved child, Lietuva.
They're in for a showdown here tonight.
Let's get this party started.
Oh my goodness sakes, that's a throwdown.
Goes in for the dunk.
Good night. Too big, too strong, and just too good.
Bogdanovic, who goes in and scores. Ah!
This is what it's all about.
It's all one big basketball family, folks.
Winning time.
Both teams over the limit. You have got to be kidding me!
Welcome back, everybody, live here at the Xiaomi Arena in Riga, Latvia for this final game of the first window of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup Qualifiers. Currently, Croatia leading against Israel by 5 points, led by this young man, Mikhail Ružić. Well, he's currently playing in Juventud Badalona in the Spanish ACB Liga Endesa and the Basketball Champions League. But right now, he's leading Croatia with 10 points. Well, he also has 4 rebounds. Remember, he's only 19 years old. Shows the amount of grades that have come out of Croatia at that position. Likes of Krešimir Ćosić, not to mention currently you have both Ivica Zubac and Dario Saric. And well, this young man trying to put his name up there, trying to progress his career, and he's doing it right now for Hrvatska. Well, for the Israelis, no surprise to see their big man, Roman Sorkin, who does have 13 points. He also has 1 assist and 1 rebound. Well, if they're going to win, pick up a big victory after that disappointing loss against the Germans, well, they're going to need another big performance in the second half by big man, Roman Sorkin. Well, that was the backdoor play against Ružić. But Sorkin at times, you know, just may take a little bit of time. There was a nice pump fake. Keeping his dribble alive, faking the pass to Yuval Zuzman. And in the end, little teardrop in the paint, but there was the pick and pop. Here was the 3, and this is where he's definitely improved in his offense. Well, this was taking Roko Prkačin to the baseline. Just showing the dominance, the little bump. Too big, too strong. And Prkačin, well, simply just too elite. Well, the only other player near double figures for the Israelis is Kanin Carrington. And welcome back, everybody, live here at the Xiaomi Arena in Riga, Latvia. Second game here in Group B between Israel and Croatia. Croatia winning their opening game for the first time in a FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifying window as they got a 40-point victory against the likes of Cyprus. Well, the Israelis began their tour to Doha 2027 on the road in the city of Ulm at the Ratio Farm Arena. And a very tough game against the defending World Cup champions of Germany. Well, it was a good offensive performance by Roman Sorkin. But like I said, if they're going to win, they're going to need other players to step in and step up this evening. Well, Sorkin, of course, one of the more exciting elite talents coming out of Israeli basketball. Because began his career in the NCAA, actually, at the University of Oregon. Because didn't really have a big impact, but midway through his senior season, he went and signed for Maccabi Haifa in the Winter League, and then he transferred to the Rivals, where he played for 2 seasons with, well, excuse me, no, he stayed with Maccabi Haifa for another following 3 years. His final season with them in 2021, nearly averaged a double-double of 13 points and 7 rebounds. Tamian Blatt actually leading the rebound count for the Israelis with 2, while Roy Huber currently leading with assists with 3. Well, those numbers are going to have to improve if Israel want to get a victory, because it's been a very long time since the Israelis have gone to a FIBA Basketball Cup. For the Croatians, well, last time they were there was 2014. Well, Ružić currently 6 rebounds away from a potential double-double this evening. Because knowing the club that he comes from, Juventud Badalona, they just want to make sure they get the victory. Croatia have not won back-to-back victories in a FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers since 2018. They had victories with Bojan Bogdanovic, Ivica Zubac, and Dario Saric over the Netherlands, and then again against Italy. Mario Zania currently with 6 points and 5 boards. Filapovic leading the assist category with 4. Goran Filapovic currently playing in the 2nd division of Spanish basketball with the Movistar Estudiantes in Madrid. And there's Rocco Prkačin, another young Croatian. It was only his 23rd birthday just before this window started. So you like the mix of what Coach Mijatovic has got to work with. But as for head coach Ariel Beit-Halatmi, like I said, he looks relatively calm, but a lot of expectations on the Israeli national team after a very impressive run at the FIBA Eurobasket this past summer. Well, he's their 2nd leading scorer, Kenny Carrington, now in his 4th season playing in the Israeli Winter League in Yerushalayim. Because signing him off the back of a very successful campaign with Jadia Dijon in France, where he finished with them back in 2022 when he was teammates with the likes of David Holston and company. Well, the Israelis have only ever gone to 2 FIBA Basketball World Cups. Of course, they went to the 2nd one back in 1954 in Brazil, where they finished in 8th place. And the last one they went to was in Madrid, Spain, back in 1986. It's been a very, very long time indeed. Well, he'll be happy with his team's start to the game. He knows it was a good win for them against Cyprus, a 40-point blowout in which Mario Zanioloto scores nearly triple-double numbers to go with his 25 points. He had 6 boards and 6 assists, but it's other players that need to chip in. Because he had 3 other players in double figures that night in Rocco Prkačin, Rocco Bajim, who we have yet to see so far, and Danko Brankovic. Well, for Ariel Beit-Halatmi, of course, only 3 players in double figures. Ramad Sokin leading all scorers of 18, followed with the Kenny Carrington, and 11 points coming from Bat Timur. But the Israelis shot quite well from the perimeter. They were 8 out of 22, but the problem for them was they had 20 turnovers. So far, the Israelis only 2 turnovers tonight, so they've done a much better job at taking care of the basketball. But I'm sure we're going to see more of that man, Super Mario, in the 2nd half. When you think about the 90s, this was probably one of the greatest basketball countries in the world when they had the late, great Drazen Petrovic, Dino Radja, not to mention the sensation, Tony Kukoc. So a lot of legacy for those Croatian players to live up to. Well, same set for the Israelis. They have a rich tradition in international basketball. Like I said, 1986 was a long time ago. That's before I was even born. So let's listen now to Coach Mijatovic. Well, the chant of Hrvatska, translation to Croatia in Croatian language. Well, Ariel Beit-Halatmi saw his team go down 12-0 right from the beginning. Looks like he's going to come out with Natal Artsi along with Roy Huber and Kenny Carrington in the backcourt, which does leave Jovel Zusman. And use that QR code and download the official FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifying app, where you can follow your favorite teams and players right from the qualifiers up until Doha 2027. Get all the best news and highlights that matter to you most. And download it today using that QR code on your smartphone, your tablet, or your Android. Israel will get the first possession. Welcome back, everybody, live here at the Xiaomi Arena in Riga, Latvia. 2nd game for these 2 teams here in Group B of the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Sachi Krejcik sees the first possession. Another troika. Well, 6 out of 13, as many as the Israelis. The Israelis have taken 1 more, but it's an 8-point lead. Because this is the issue Israel had against Germany. They got off to a slow start in the 3rd quarter. Huber penetrates, finds Zusman. It goes out of bounds off of Zania, so 2.6 left on the shot clock for Israel. Croatia's defense didn't need to shift and shake at that point. Very static, but Israel's got to go quick now. Well, they got to get it inbound. And they throw it away. Huber trying to find Carrington. Here comes Mario Hezonja. Foul is going to be committed by Netanel Artsy. That's going to be a second personal foul. Sideline possession coming up for Croatia. Looking again for the second double-digit lead against the Israelis. Smith hasn't scored yet tonight. Still has it in his hands. Now Hippala for one. Offensive rebound falling in the hands of David Škada. Hezonja baseline. Oh my goodness! Oh, Brate Hezonja. Super Mario on the handoff, and he threw it down and said, Laku Nash, good night. What a play by Super Mario Hezonja. Well, he now makes it indeed a 10-point lead. He's got 8 points. Israel got to find rhythm. Huber pulls up. High arc, can't get it. Only Sorkin challenging for an offensive board. And now here come the Croatians. Smith finds Bajic, one more pass, and Ružić now going up to 12. It's beautiful Croatian basketball. And a timeout is going to be called by Ariel Beit-Halapmi. Well, there's a simple pass by Smith. And look at Bajic with the little dump down dime. And Ružić met him inside the paints. Well, let's listen now to what head coach Ariel Beit-Halapmi has to say.
We run the shirt with you. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Well, that was the kick out, the opening three of the second half. That time Hezonja getting this handoff and going baseline for Mario. Right here, Bajic just finding Ružić. Well, Ružić just doing the simple things, getting into the right places. This has only missed one shot tonight, Mikhail Ružić. Second leading scorer in this game, right behind Roman Sorkin. 12-point Croatian lead, 8:33 to go here in the third quarter. Final game of this Group B here in the Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Well, Smith not allowing Tamir Blatt to get the ball. Carries it. Finds Segev. Blocks made, but a foul's given. So Itai Segev will now go to the free throw line. Well, it may not be the worst foul in the world because as great as Itai Segev is, free throws has always been an up and down part of his game. Well, he's a fantastic player, Itai Segev. He was 59% last season in the Israeli Winter League when he played for Ironi Nes Ziona. Missed them both. Just passing around as Mario Hezonja left wide open. Can't get it. Israel's got to find some rhythm. They need to build their identity here in this offense. Well, there's a lob. Segev will try to connect with it. And now here comes Croatia. Bajic finds Smith. You can't fault him for trying, that's for sure. Well, they're gonna turn this one over. And over 2 minutes played. Israel still looking for their first field goal. I mean, look at this. Well, the old saying, if you don't buy a ticket, you won't win the raffle. But I think Itai Segev felt there was contact there. Carrington now drawing the defense from the ball screen. Now attacks with a teardrop. Still just can't go. Well, they're getting good looks, but nothing falling at the moment for the Israelis. And Zanya finds Ružić. He's only missed one tonight. That's his second miss. Oh, but they find Božić wide open. Quick thinking from Jalen Smith. And that becomes Smith's fourth assist of the night, while Božić now moving up to 8 points. Oh, excuse me, corrected. Fifth assist, actually, for Smith. Here we go. Tough pass. Sorkin keeps it alive. Another pump fake, and a foul has been drawn. That foul's going to be against Božić. Well, this is a good move by Carrington. Wow. Bit of contact there, but look at that. Smith with the quick thinking. Roman Sorkin making the first free throw. Only his second free throw of the evening. He now has 14 points. Just gets a second one to rattle in. Slicing it back down to a 12-point deficit. 7:01 to go here in the third quarter. Croatia still in the lead. Croatia's got to be a little bit more definitive in their offense. They've been great so far. Mario makes a dish off. And Ružić yet again, now going up to 14. Well, he's having a buffet tonight. The assist coming from Mario Hezonja. It's his second assist of the night. Blatt. Great work by Segev. Finding Carrington. No foul given. Carrington still got it. Carrington took a bit of time. Oh, it's becoming a tough offense. It's almost identical to their game against Germany. A struggle here in the third quarter. This Israelis with 7 less field goals inside the paint. Ružić, one more pass. This time the foul's given. And Croatia now will go to the charity stripe. It looks like it's going to be called on Itai Segev. Well, Segev, yeah, that's a good call. Had no choice but to foul. So David Škada now at the charity stripe here for Hrvatska. Still interesting. We haven't seen Rocco Badgett so far this evening. Because we have seen a little bit, only just under 2 minutes from Danko Brankovic, but great game from David Škada as he makes the second one. Škada now moving up here to 8 points. Well, 9 points, excuse me. Segev fakes a handoff and wants to plan revenge against the rim. Well, he felt he should have connected on the alley-oop, and Itai Segev took no prisoners. Well, he now moves up to 6. Statement play by Segev, but it's still a 14-point Croatian lead. Speaking of 14, Ružić, that's the number he has so far. Croatia's leading scorer. Mario around the defense. Unable to get the ab one. But a chance now for Hezonja to go up to double figures if he can convert these 2 free throws. Well, how do you stop Mario Hezonja? I don't think you can. Look at Itai Segev. Throw it down, Itai Segev. Throw it down. Fakes the handoff. High IQ basketball play. Croatia now currently 7 out of 9 from the free throw line. This is Mario Hezonja's first charity stripe trip to this evening. Segev actually has picked up 4 personal fouls, so he's got to come out of the game. Back to a 16-point lead to Croatia. So Leo Carrera back in the lineup here for the Israelis. Just trying to find some rhythm in their offense. Timur goes to Sorkin. Sorkin in and around And that's going to be an offensive foul. Well, not sure what happened there afterwards, but Sorkin's going to get called for a hook, I believe. And now Sorkin's going to leave the game, I think. Well, it's only his second personal foul, I believe, so not too much. Let's have a look at the replay. Yeah, good call. That's the right decision. I think it was frustration by Roman Sorkin because he didn't have anybody to kick out to. The Israelis' offense has been very static at times. While Croatia, it's actually Sorkin's first personal. Škada, one more pass. Ružić now moving up to 16. Young Brate. Young Brate's only 19, but he's leading Croatia. Carries it, pump fakes. Gets in the lane, got to make this one. Finally gets it. And probably they need the backcourt to attack the paint more often. Now Batsimore trying to match up with Mario Zania. There's a fadeaway. I was quite surprised to see how Mario was able to dribble up to the three-point line and nobody picked him up. Batsimore, good passing. He'll go for another three and it goes in and out. Salmonson kicked out to Tamir Blatt. 17 three-point attempts here for the Israelis. Now Ružić. Twice he's taken a three. They've been on target. It's not lacking confidence. Ante Tomic has been his mentor at Badalona. Well, kickball violation is going to be called. Well, Croatia's done a fantastic job of only giving the Israelis 3 offensive boards. They have 20 defensive rebounds so far. The Israelis have 14. Blatt finds Carrington. Dishes off to Carrera. Just nothing dropping here. Salmonson battles for it. Here comes Mario Zania. Well, Mario just bullies his way in and plays bully basketball. 18-point Croatian lead. Zania now moving up to 12 points. 3 rebounds away from a double-double. Salmonson loses it. And now Croatia can't have numbers, but Škada is going to slow this one down. It looks like Danko Brankovic is getting ready to come back into the lineup here for Hrvatska. Can they make it a 20-point lead? Maybe a 21. Smith. Oh, it's just one too many passes. Ružić trying to find Škara on the baseline. With the Israelis congested, here is Super Mario. Well, just going right in transition. Nobody was able to stop him. That is Croatian dominance. Salmonson coming up for the screen. And Brankovic goes for a tough fadeaway. And the shot attempts are becoming tough at the moment here for the Israelis. Božić. Wow, Brankovic is wide open. Smith can't get the troika. Well, Božić should have looked up because Danko Brankovic could have made it a 20-point ball game. And that's going to be Croatia's 3rd team foul. Is that one committed by David Škada? Oh no, it's on Božić, excuse me. Well, Toni Nakic back into the game, hasn't played here in the second half yet. Škada going to the bench. Remember, Nakic 7 points at the end of the first half. Still time here on the shot clock. Batsimore finds an open on the penetration. Smooth play by Batsimore. Well, the Israelis have got to stop looking at the referees because patience is going to wear thin. That's a great move. They don't need a technical foul at this stage. Zach Kravitz trying to keep Zania in front of him. That's going to send Mario Zania to the free throw line. Well, you can understand why Yaya Kravitz is trying to chase Mario Zania, put him under pressure, but I mean, he's just such a destructive, creative player. Well, Mario Hezonja made that jump to the NBA in 2015 after leaving the Spanish ACB. 3 years with the Orlando Magic. Because of his opening season, he was 90% for the free throw line. Also played for the New York Knicks. Finally with the Portland Trail Blazers and Memphis Grizzlies before going to play in the Greek Basketball League in Athens. 2 minutes left. Croatia still lead by 18. Timur finds Zalmanson. This is where he's good in the paints. That takes a deflection. That's going to remain Israel ball with 5 seconds left here on the shot clock. Got to get something quick. Zalmanson goes for a quick 3. Just nothing falling for the Israelis at the moment. Yet again, Croatia. Another chance here to extend more pressure against the Israelis' defense. Israel, no fouls to give. And it's just as simple as that. A paint entry, finding Darko Brankovic. Even there, Tony Nakic hands in the pass lane, denying the cut down the middle by Leo Carrera. And it's almost like the last game for the Israelis against Germany in the 3rd quarter. Just couldn't get into any rhythm. Timur keeps in one hand. Follow up there by Don Zalmanson. Second chance points, crucial at this moment in the game. That is indeed the first time tonight the Israelis have had second chance points. Croatia's had 8 so far. Remember where I said these two teams had a combined total of 46 points in the paint? Well, that's changed now. Now make it 68, but 40 of them have come from Croatia. Now it's another trip to the free throw line. Oh, Božić. Got to know that every trip here, remember, Croatia have had their struggles in FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Back-to-back victories on the opening window would be a huge success for them. Second free throw made. Božić now up to 9 points. Croatia's got 1 foul to give. Hezonja matched up with Timur. Vlad finds Timur. Struggling to break down the defense. Got to go quick. Well, they get a wide open look. And Leshalosh Bevakasha. They needed that one big time. Well, that cuts it down to 16 and potentially a 2-for-1 for the Israelis. Croatia won. One final good offense. And good defense by Zalmanson. Well, they have numbers. And that's going to be a, wow, blocking foul called against Jalen Smith. Well, there was hesitation by Don Zalmanson. Let's have a look here. It's tough. It's tough indeed. But look at this wide open 3. Only the second one of the game for Tamir Blatt. Two seconds difference between game and shot clock. Black got it by Smith. Israel happy to dribble this one down for the final play. Zalmanson coming up for the screen. Black defended by Božić. Timur. And there's the foul. So now indeed, with 5.1, they'll get 2 final free throws. I'll try to cut this down to a 14-point deficit. Patient offense, but great work by Don Zalmanson. Quickly getting into the paint and posting up against the mismatch from Jalen Smith. Well, Don Zalmanson in the BCL last season was an 80% free throw shooter for Hulania. You compare that to the Israeli Winter League where he only shot 65%, so he's now in his second season with the Purple Brothers. Very passionate fan base. Of course, they made it to 1 Final Four of the BCL back in 2022, but second one no good. Hezonja got to go quick from the half court. And just a little too strong, but it will be Croatia heading into the final 10 with a 15-point lead and looking for consecutive victories in FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers for the first time since 2018. Coach Mijatovic has seen a great third quarter from his players. Can they hold on? We're going to look at some of the key stats from this game, and then we'll run down the best highlights from the third quarter. Well, the points in the paint has been what's dominant so far from the Croatians. They do have one less three-pointer, but 21 field goals from within inside the rainbow, and they've only missed 3 free throws out of their 14 attempts. The Israelis, that final 3 from Tamir Blatt, couldn't give them life. We're now going to look at the highlights from the third. Well, Ariel Beit-Halachmi doesn't want his team to go 0-2, while Coach Mijatovic would love to see his team go 2-0, starting with the Troika from Škada. And that is how the Croatians began the third quarter. And then here was Super Mario Obrate on the handoff, throwing it down with no regard for the help side defense feelings. Well, Ružić has had a game of games at the moment, the young 19-year-old. Currently leading Croatia with 16 points. He's 8 out of 11 from the field with 6 rebounds. Because probably and possibly Nezhitaj Segev, who unfortunately does have 4 fouls, but in the case of Croatia, both Mario Hezonja and Mikhail Ružić could end up with double-doubles tonight. Well, it's exciting to see him here at the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, and we're going to see him in the BCL when we return from the international break with Badalona. Well, basketball fans, use that QR code and download Courtside 1891, where you can get all the best live streams, schedules, and scores. Courtside 1891, the home of international basketball. Mario Hezonja, 8 points in that third quarter, now currently 1 rebound away from a double-double. He's been defended by that man, Yair Kravitz. Well, Baltimore has shown a lot of promise in this game. Now the veteran, 3rd time representing Israel in a 3rd different FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifier. Welcome back live here in Riga, Latvia at the Xiaomi Arena. Israel down by 15. Back to Zalmanson. Finding Timur. 3 off the handoff. Good look, but unable to connect. Well, those are the shots you want to see from Timur. It's 18 3-point attempts already here. Well, they get a good look, but Smith just comfortably gets a rebound. Ružić now is 16, but unable to finish. Well, my correction is 19 3-point attempts from the Israelis. It's 18 for the Croatians. Timur finds Zalmanson inside the paint. It rolls its way in and out. Those are 2 good looks for the Israeli offense. That could have cut it down to a 10-point deficit. Mario finds Ružić. Contact, counted. He's going to the free throw line. Young baby Brate right now playing for an MVP tonight here in Riga, Latvia. Well, Badalona's finest, Mikhail Ružić, right now dominating for Hrvatska. He's just simply going to work. And the look in his eyes says that he's here for business. 9 out of 13, his first trip to the free throw line tonight. 3 boards away from a double-double. That's going to be lane violation, so Ružić will get another free throw. You got to feel for head coach Ariel Beit-Halachmi, because he's got a good team. And like I said, they were great at the Eurobasket, but it's always tough in the opening window when you lose your opening 2 games. Remember, they'll also have to play again against Germany and twice, another one against Croatia, but twice against Cyprus. Top 3 teams in each group of the 32 teams in Europe will go on to second round. 18-point lead to Croatia. A foul drawn on the ground by Zalmanson. It's against Mario Hezonja. That's going to be Hezonja's first personal foul of the game. That just shows you what an elite player Mario Hezonja is. Doesn't mind picking up full court against point guards. Doesn't mind switching and picking up bigs like he done Zalmanson. Well, that's why he's one of the best in Europe. Ramad Sorkin back in the lineup now here for Israel. Also Kenny Carrington. Sorkin cashing well out the paint. Goes baseline. Bit of contact, but finishes under pressure. Tough play by Ramad Sorkin. Now with 17. Israel with only 2 players in double figures. Oh my goodness! Vala! Are you kidding me, Ružić? What did this young man have for breakfast? Wow. There's a kick out, finding Carrington. Pump fakes. Good defense by Ružić. Now picking up his 8th rebound. 2 away from a double-double. Well, somebody tell Ricky Rubio, next game in the BCL, find Mikal Ružić. I want to know what Ante Tomic has been teaching the young 19-year-old. Because Ružić right now is bowling. The young Brate. Well, there's the penetration by Smith. Still can't get it to drop. Still this time here for Israel, but they've got to believe. Body language, of course, showing the lack of confidence. Ramad Sorkin, defended by Ružić. Zusman finds Sorkin's got 17, another pump fake, and finishes with a bit of contact. 19 for Sorkin. And that's going to be an offensive foul. Well, that one's on Luka Božić. Tough one indeed. Watch Božić here. Oh yeah, right with the elbow, you could see. Good call. A little bit dangerous if you ask me. Well, I don't think it was intentional by any means, but just a little bit reckless. 3rd foul against Božić. Israel looking to cut this one down. Back to Sorkin. Wants to ISO. Twisting Tony goes in, a little too strong. In that case, somebody's got to come in for an offensive board. Well, the reach from behind called against Yaya Kravitz. And that's going to be Israel's 3rd team foul with only 1 to give here in the 4th quarter. And down by 16. Well, now almost forcing a turnover. Croatia's able to regather this. Israel don't want to foul now. They don't want to use that last foul. Smith puts up a wild one. Carrington comes up with it. Still this time for the Israelis. But they've got to make things happen quick. Carrington going back to Sorkin. Backdoor by Zusman. Couple of twists. Nothing again. Well, the Croatians do a fantastic job of crashing the paint anytime there is a penetration from the Israelis. Kravitz again chasing. Božić, baseline. Loses dribble, comes up with it. Finds Ružić yet again. 23 points. Well, what a performance. Mario Zanya's got 1 double-double. Can indeed Mikal Ružić finish with 1 as well. Timor with time winding down here for the Israelis. Try to find Sorkin, turns it over. And now here comes Croatia. A foul is going to be committed by Zusman. And that's Israel's final team foul to give away. Well, another change coming in is Leo Carrera back in the lineup. And the best Israel can do at the moment with 5:33. I mean, it's not over, but you've got to chip into the deficit. Of course, in this group, they would definitely fancy themselves to be in the top 3, but they've got to do something as Mario hits another troika. That's his 3rd of the night. 17 for Super Mario. 11 boards, 3 assists. Wow. Goran Filipovic coming up with a loose ball. He's going to let that one go out of bounds, so it will be a baseline possession now for the Croatians. And this is tough here for the Israelis. Nakic made the pass. Mario with the deep troika. Well, it's a troika party, and Mario Hezonja is hosting it as he's got 3. Well, throwing that one right away. Carries it. Well, why not? Wide open, pulls up. I mean, what else are Israel supposed to do? That's a good look. They've had many here in the second half. They just won't go in. Filipovic, defended by Carrington. Gets another screen from Ružić. Ružić needs 1 board to get that double-double. Filipovic gets rejected. Good block by Zusman. Now Zusman wants to convert the turnover. Comes up with it, counted, and he'll go to the free throw line and try to cut this down to an 18-point deficit. Well, Yuval Zusman on both ends of the floor. Don't add him on Facebook. He'll block you, but then he'll count you down the other end of the now 1. Well, 4:27 to go. Players going to the benches. Looks like a timeout has been called indeed, but I think the one thing that really has hurt the Israelis in this game indeed has been the offensive rebounding. 20 rebounds in total. You compare that to Croatia's 35. Now, Croatia's only got 5 offensive boards, but they have been converting. Israelis only have 4 offensive rebounds, and when you're chasing a game, that's probably a stat you want to come up with more to try and get back in. And now remember, even if the Israelis lose, you want to minimize the deficit. You want to play for a potential head-to-head when you have a rematch in future windows. Remember, 3 windows in the first round. And they'll have to go to either Zagreb, maybe Split, who knows. Any beautiful town in Croatia. Top 3 teams in the group stage go to round 2. The 4th place, well, their bid to get to Doha 2027 will be over, but Mario Hezonja just making things happen, and Mikhail Ružić, well, when he goes back to Badalona, they're in quest to win a BCL championship this season. Goes back-to-back wins, and look at this, Ružić. Young Brate, elevating. What a dunk. Free throw converted by Zusman. $18-point lead still to Croatia. Nakic finding Božić, now going down low to Ružić. Ružić spinning, going to double team. Goes in, finishes under pressure, nice move in the end. Well, neatly done by Luka Božić, now becoming the 3rd Croatian player into double figures. $20-point Croatian lead. Now Roy Huber puts up a floater, can't get it. Sorkin battles the offensive board. That's what the Israelis needed. That's only the 5th offensive rebound, as many as Croatia in this game. Foul is on Mikhail Ružić. For the Israelis, it's about minimizing this deficit as much as possible. This is the next window in February. That will take place on between the 27th of Feb and the 1st of March. Israel will host Cyprus in the first game, and then they'll be on the road to play Cyprus. And those will definitely be 2 must-win games. Sorkin now at 20 points. Over 3.5 to go here in the 4th quarter. Well, if Croatia do go 2-0 and hold on to this to this lead, exciting game for them as they'll take on Germany in doubleheader. Majic now has to put up a tough one. Not going to get it. Zusman gets a rebound. Israel's got to keep on scoring. Well, Soka was wide open if he rolled in time. Now battling for position. Trying to kick out of Carrington, still comes up with it. Time winding down, Carrera. They've got to shoot it. Carrera now gets it off. And that's a huge three-pointer. That cuts it down to 16. They've got to keep on chipping into the lead. Time isn't in their favor, though, as Mario Hezonja will calmly and patiently wind down the clock. No, he'll go for another one. Well, as this one comes up with it, here's where the Israelis have got to be quick. Almost threw it away. Now, who took the last touch? It's going back to Croatia. Right idea, but good job by that man, Goran Filipovic. Well, he's probably got that transition DNA playing for Movistar Estudiantes in the capital city of Madrid. Still a 16-point lead here to Croatia. Mario defended by Roy. Mario goes baseline. Wow, trying to find Ružić. Carrington spinning. Just over 2 minutes. Nice dime, finds Zalmanson. Oh, got to go up with it. Zusman will try a three. Could have gone with Zalmanson inside the paint, but they elected to go from the perimeter. Now Hezonja, no fouls here for either team. Mario goes in. Can't finish with a finger roll. Well, that's much better. Now cutting it down to a 14-point ball game with 100 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Well, that's a great job by Roy Huber, getting right inside to the paint. And good run by Jovel, Zusman. Key thing for the Israelis, can they cut it down to single digits? A head-to-head will be so crucial. These two teams will meet again in window number 3. As mentioned, the Israelis, when we come back for window number 2 in February, it's a doubleheader against Cyprus. For the Croatians, they will meet the Basketball World Cup defending champions Germany. And you look at this team, well, Kotovatska could be back. Well, what an unbelievable performance from this young man. Just needs 1 rebound with his 23 points and he'll get that double-double. Because he also has 3 assists tonight. Well, he's the second most efficient player actually on the floor, right behind David Škada. But could take the MVP award. He's got a double-double. Super Mario, 17 points, 12 rebounds, and also has 3 assists. Great inspiring performance. Croatia haven't been to a Basketball World Cup since 2014. Filipovic had a good game so far tonight. Mario, pump fakes. Now it goes to the free throw line, drawing that foul against Leo Carrera. Oh, it's just a smart play from the mid-range, the post up. And then the simple little pump fake. That's a few words there for Idan Zalmanson. Hezonja makes the free throw. Mario with 19. Extending it back to a 16-point Croatian lead. 80 seconds left here in the fourth. Hasn't missed a free throw tonight, Hezonja. Uber finds Zalmanson. Zalmanson going for a post-up. Good defense by Ružić. And the rebound calmly collected. Number 13 for Mario Hezonja. Well, you kind of feel the Croatians getting ready to light the cigars. Back-to-back victories for the first time in FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers since the summer 2018. That's the most games they've won in a row is actually 3 games. That was in that same qualification. Azania unable to finish. Israel could get 2 final good offenses. Seal off by Carrera. Now cuts it down to 14. Can Israel get one final stop? One final offense? Anything to give them a glimmer of a hope when they meet Croatia in window number 3 for a potential head-to-head. Final seconds. Filipovic goes for it. Deep one. Not going to get it. Israel won 1 final bucket. Carrera finds Carrington. Well, gets in his way. Carrington goes for that 3. It's up, no good. And there you have it. Croatia win their 2nd game of the opening window here in Group E of the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. A big win as they win 85-71 against Israel. Well, a huge win indeed. Oh, just what a great performance from that man. I say man, he's only 19. He's a young man. Mikhail Rujic, 23 points, was 1 rebound away from a double-double. But Roman Sorkin, 20 points this evening. And only 1 of 2 players in double figures, along with Kadeem Carrington, who only had 2 points in the second half. Well, the Israelis will look back at these 2 games. They'll put a line under both of them. And they'll get ready for February for the doubleheader against Cyprus. While for Croatia, Mitrovic knows it's going to be a challenge. A battle as they will take on Deutschland, Germany in February. But Croatia could be back. One of the most historic countries in international basketball. The legacy of the late, great Drazen Petrovic. The sensation, Toni Kukoc, Dino Radja, and even go back a decade or 2 before that with Krešimir Ćosić. Well, it could be their time. It could indeed be Hrvatska Košarka's time to get back on the world stage, but it's only window 1. Well, great to see the traveling Israeli fans coming here to see this game in Riga, Latvia at the Shalmi Arena. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough in the end. Well, Croatia, 1 less three-pointer than the Israelis, but 25 field goals from inside the rainbow. The Croatians, though, 14 out of 17 from the free throw line this evening. It was the points in the paint, as well as the second chance points, dominating the rebounds, 38-29, as well as having 9 more assists. But the Israelis defensively did have 1 more steal for that matter. But that is how it will end here in Group E. Like I said, only 2 players for the Israelis in double figures, Roman Sorkin and Kadeem Carrington. While indeed you look at Croatia, well, they had the same, along with Luka Božić. Time to look at the highlights from this magnificent win for Croatia. It's a big moment now for Croatian basketball because they won at the Eurobasket. They won at the last Basketball World Cup in Japan, Indonesia, or the Philippines. Could they be on the way to their way back to the world stage? All roads to Doha 2027 began here in this window for all teams across the world. And for Croatia, it means a lot more because they've seen their neighbors get there. Slovenia. They've also seen Serbia there as well. And now it's time for the Brates from Hrvatska to get their way back to the world stage. Oh, the Israelis as well. It's been nearly 4 decades since 1986 when they went to the World Cup in Madrid. But they'll have to battle back, being down 0-2 here in Group E. But they'll be looking at the games of Cyprus. So that's who will be the next opponents. Oh, Coach Mitrovic shaking hands now with Ariel Beit-Halami. It's all over this evening. A wonderful performance from that young man. Mikhail Rujic, 23 points, 9 rebounds. And Mario Hezonja, well, just doing Super Mario things. 19, 13 rebounds. A double-double for Super Mario. Oh, Croatia will finish Group E, top of the table. Remember, they had an emphatic 40-point win against Cyprus. But next window, they'll go up against the undefeated defending champions, Germany. Well, that won't be until the end of February. course, breaking into the first day of March. Basketball fans, we thank you for joining us here in Riga, Latvia, the Xiaomi Arena. But for now, it's good night, goodbye, and God bless. We'll see you in window 2 in February.